go?
It just feels like one big spine.
Yeah, it's just like the very like it's a cliche in a lot of JRPGs, but sometimes like having these really organic dungeons can just add to the creepy feel of places.
Yeah.
They're also really like it kind of adds to the fact that this place comes from like humans too, because like the fact that it's kind of like part of a giant like person's body in that way as well.
Yeah, I can totally see that design.
But we are about to reunite with somebody that we never wanted to reunite with.
Kamoshida.
Yikes.
Yep, he's back.
No. Madarame.
This is what I was talking about with like the respectful language as well. Like, notice how Yusuke instinctively goes to say sensei, but then he stops himself.
Yeah.
Kanashiro's over here.
Oh, hey, Kaneshiro actually had relevance past his arc.
Is President Okumura
Like,
here too?
slightly.
Father isn't around anymore.
And yeah, if someone's if someone's real self dies, the shadow dies too, and vice versa, so that's why Okumura is not here.
Sorry. No, it's okay. More importantly, look there. Masayoshi Shido.
The hell's going on? These guys should have had a change of heart from their palaces disappearing.
Your bod's as great as always. Come on, come closer.
You creep!
Yeah, he's still pretty gross even after the supposed change of heart.
I'm joking. I don't want any more trouble.
That's kind of
I
gross
finally
to
get
joke
live.
about that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say too. Yeah.
I mistakenly thought myself to be talented. But now I think I'm a fool for wanting too much.
It's no wonder people who can't take a hint get yelled at. I'm done acting like a big shot. Who cares if I'm stupid?
His portrait here.
Punished for being dumb.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to strive to be more than they
And he looks even weirder in the anime.
Yeah, oh yeah, I had to
These
include
people seem
some
completely
sort of
different than
footage
they
to
were
break
before.
up the game stuff, even though, yeah, the anime doesn't have very good animation.
Yeah, like it works for Kaneshiro because like he just like Kaneshiro's not supposed to look great anyway, so
Yeah.
I don't think it's because they had a change of heart, though.
Wait. Have they chosen a life of captivity after they lost their distorted desires?
Unfortunately, Okumura isn't here with us. Nothing can be done for the dead. I'm sorry.
well, I mean, you're the one who kind of ordered him killed, so it's your fault he's not here.
Yes, I know. Thank you for the details.
Also, I love this is another one of these Haru like tranquil fury moments. It's just
Yeah.
like, yes, I know.
I love Haru, man.
Now, if you don't mind, what in the world is this place?
It's supposedly called the Prison of Regression.
Yeah, this dungeon has many names. Mementos Depths, Prison of Regression. It's also sometimes referred to as the Prison of Sloth.
Regression?
Because it's not, like, directly revealed in the game, but that is the deadly sin this place represents. It is the only one of the original 7 we haven't gone through yet.
Yeah,
More importantly,
and it
does
makes
this look like
sense,
captivity?
Yeah,
considering...
you'd only figure it out, like, because there's no will seeds, it's not explicitly spelled out, but it's obvious when you think about it.
Yeah, like when you just
It's
put
the
together
exact
the,
opposite.
like, all the
The
people in their
utmost
cells
freedom is available to anyone who desires it
just
here.
sitting there.
This is the freedom to not make decisions. A release from having to think for yourself.
Yes, the freedom of not having freedom.
Yes.
It is far more marvelous than the country I wish to create.
Release from having to think?
But that's the Shin Megami Tensei lore alignment.
However, there are some fools who cannot stay put in this place. In other words, they are escaped convicts. Of course, I'm talking.
That's why I
about
really do
past
want to
selves.
play SMT1 because, you know, like, I kind of worked on that video. Well, like Tony did all of the actual awesome like ending stuff, like condensing it down. And I was thinking like, wow, SMT1 actually sounds really interesting for a law route.
I feel like the whole law and chaos thing got a little bit off the rails in later entries, but SMT1 handles it. Also, SMT1 kind of ties it to actual Japanese societal things, because law is represented by, like, American military intervention, and chaos is represented by, essentially, Japanese homegrown fascism.
Yo, that's actually so damn cool.
Yeah, the chaos rep in SMT1 is like a sort of a militia general who kind of does a military coup in Japan, which has happened multiple times in their history, and is sort of an ultra-nationalist as well.
Dude, Atlas always coming back with the, like, especially now that we're talking to Shido. When you think about it, just like, ultra-nationalism. Yeah, we not on board.
Yeah, it's even more, it's way less subtle in Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, where, they're, like, literally an ultra-nationalist politician, like, summons Izanami to cleanse Japan of foreigners.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's literally a side quest in 4 Apocalypse.
Yeah, Atlas, let's go.
And also there is, like, one of the, like, past, like, kind of, sort of, No, actually not even the past. Like, the new leader of, like, this really bad faction is literally named Abe as well.
Dude, Atlas never disappoints me. with their just, like, yeah, let's call it out like it is. Just saying.
Such people are segregated from this peaceful world and locked away in their own palaces.
But back to this particular discussion by Shido, I find really, really interesting. I'm gonna go into it in more detail after this scene is over, though.
So those are the palace rulers.
Because they're saying here that the palace rulers are people who escaped from the prison of regression.
Yeah.
I really gotta thank you for changing my heart. I got to come back here after.
And what they're stressing here is that, like, we didn't do this. It's not us giving them a change of heart that put them back in the prison. It's they had a change of heart, then they themselves chose to return to the prison.
Yeah.
We sent him back.
Because Ryuji thinks that, like, we sent him back. I feel like it's not literally that, like, but it's more that after their sort of distortions were gone, they willingly made the decision to return their shadows here.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Just what have we been doing by using the cognitive world?
It's a little, it's kind of similar a bit to, like, when people victim blame.
We saved people. We saved each other too, didn't we?
It's like they kind of make you feel like, did we do something bad? When in reality, it's like, no, but they're the ones who chose to come back here. Like, we're not the ones who
I'm sorry.
like made you decide to come back here, even though you decided that after your, like, distortion was gone.
Having the freedom to not make your own decisions only means that someone else is controlling you. Tell me, who is the ruler here? Who made all of this?
What an odd question to ask. It should be obvious. Every member of the general public.
And if you look at the security meter icon, you will notice it's just a mass of people, and it doesn't represent any one being.
Haven't you learned anything in school? The collective ruler of a democratic country is its people.
Okay, firstly, Shido, you're really not one to be talking when it comes to democracy, just saying.
Yeah.
But also, secondly, this is on a TV report at one point in P5. Like, it does actually say this.
Don't lie out of your ass like that! I mean, there was a guard here earlier. That means someone's gotta be looking out for you guys, right?
You may be right. We are the ones looking out upon everyone else.
No. So the ones who least want the prison to be tampered with are the prisoners themselves?
It don't matter what this guy's talking about. We're gonna erase all of Mementos anyways. Come on, let's keep going. Mona, the treasure's in the deepest part, right?
Mona? I do remember this place. I saw the humans in here, and realized I looked different than them for some reason. Right. That's when I started to think I wanted to turn into a human.
Is that why you thought you would regain your true form if we destroyed Mementos?
Sorry, I'm still missing a lot of my memories. But I know I started randomly checking a bunch of palaces. Then my next memory is about that bastard Kamoshida's. Yeah. I'm starting to remember
The
more.
timeline makes it
What are
so
you doing here?
interesting. In regards to like Akechi
Guards again? And there are more of them this time!
too.
Damn it. We got careless. Let's run!
Oh, actually, this bit, like, from a
I've discovered some escaped
gameplay
inmates.
standpoint, I find kind of
Kill them
funny,
at
though.
once.
So, like, these guys chase after you and you're supposed to run. But you can just
But then you
walk up
can
to them
just
and
walk.
attack them.
Yeah,
Oh, and it's a
I think
treasure
that's
demon, too, so I
literally-
needed to do this anyway.
yeah, like that. That's what I did too. I think a lot of people did that because you're facing them when you're
Yeah.
able to take control again. So you're just like, okay, might as well.
Show your might or
So it looks like I don't actually have Chernobog because it doesn't have its, like, name listed, but I'm pretty sure it's weak to fire as well. But also, Hope Diamond...
This enemy is beneath us. It should be easy.
This thing can appear randomly in Shido's Palace in Royal, I think, but it's very rare. This is usually the first place you're likely to encounter it.
The Hope one.
Yeah. And, I think it's actually weak to ice, but, just to be, like, completely safe, I'm just gonna go Joker downshot.
Yeah.
You need to do 30 of these for a Thieves' Den award anyway, so I might as well grab it. Here. I was worried that I wouldn't actually get Hope Diamond, so I'm glad this appeared. Like, Crystal Skull also shows up in this dungeon. It's a bit rarer, but, like, Crystal Skull's kind of a massive pain in vanilla P5 because it only appeared in, like, the last floor of Mementos after beating Shido's Palace. So, unless you specifically grinded for enemies there for a long time, you wouldn't really know it existed.
I think I was probably one of those people.
But it's like, you'll just have like 1% missing in your compendium and you'll have no idea why.
And it's because of that one, like, treasure thing.
I want to give Ryuji a little bit more screen time here. But so what I promised to talk about regarding, like, those palace rules, like, something I find really, really interesting about what was discussed there is when they explained that, like, the people who escape from this prison are the palace rulers. So here's my personal theory on that and why that's a thing. So this place is, like, in my opinion, the kind of ultimate sort of extreme of collectivism. The idea of just being concerned so much with group harmony and social cohesion that, you know, you just would rather not really even do anything with your life and not think for yourself. So, in my view, the palace rulers in that case are the ultimate negative extreme of individualism. In that, because the palaces are like their distortion, like they literally distort the world to match how they and only they see things, and everyone else in the world to them, like the cognitions, are not sentient beings. They are just basically living. Oh crap. Well, thankfully I resist that. They're basically just dolls that have no will of their own. So that's how I personally view these things. Like, the palace rulers, even like Shido, who most people would classify as quote-unquote lawful evil, I still think they emphasize, like, this idea of, like, the opposite of this place in being, like, extreme individualism. And I don't know, like, what you think about that.
No, yeah, I think I totally, like, am on board with that sort of, you know, like, interpretation of it.
Alright.
Like, I think
Let's hurry ahead.
it goes to say first, though, that, like,
I can feel it.
any kind of, like, moderation at the end, like, discernment is,
Yeah.
like, totally, like, necessary to know like when to stand up for yourself and when not to, I guess. But yeah, no, I totally get that that like train of thought I guess you have of just basically the only real reason they were able to break free from like this is the ultimate like conformity balance. Like it's like because I think sometimes people have a misconception of like Japan when they only know it through its media, because a lot of that media is like anime and JRPG. They're very like bombastic and crazy, and so I think people assume that
I've always personally said that judging like Japanese culture by anime and like video games is like trying to judge American culture but based on Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I guess. Or like a lot of our cartoons like just straight up like like South Park or something like right. Yeah, so I think a lot of the times people assume because there's so many crazy like different art designs and ideas floating around in like anime a lot, like I think they assume you're allowed to be kind of you're allowed to be like super out there and because there's all these different creative ideas, right? But in reality, if you come to live in this society, you're very much expected to conform. It's like the complete opposite. It's kind of like anime, I feel, is almost like an escape, probably. And like video game design is kind of like an escape for a lot of these people because they can do kind of like whatever they want in the anime and the game. But in real life, they have to conform to the society. And so like the only reason why the palace rulers were able to break free from here is that they didn't care about the conformity anymore. They were just like, yeah, I'm gonna take a page out of like all these other philosophies that promote more like individualism, right? And now I've broken free. Hell yeah, like I'm free from the conformist society, but at the same time, like I'm an awful dude.
Yeah, it's just like, it's kind of like I've always felt that like with freedom sort of comes like responsibility, because like if you're free to do, you know, if you're free to do anything you want, well then it also means that you're free to, you know, hurt people and do awful things, so it's all about, you know, what you choose to do with that freedom.
Yeah, exactly. And like, and for anyone who might think that like, oh, so they're trying to paint a picture of like,
it's time to pull out.
Like it sounds a little contradictory in a way when I guess what Klingy and I are like getting at is like, oh, they're trying to paint the palace rulers as like, oh, like too much individualism is bad, right? But it's like, but the Phantom Thieves are like the good like portrayal of it, of like how when you display aspects of like the more individualistic like thinking, like this is where you can do so much good for other people, like minus the persona and supernatural aspect of what they do. At the end of the day, it's just the whole like standing up for other people.
I just want to stop this for a little bit because I just want to explain this enemy here. So the fact that I got Akechi's sleuthing instinct and it revealed a resistance instead of a weakness, that reveals this thing has no weaknesses. And it has charge and a whole lot of really dangerous physical attacks, also ice and freeze boost. But there's something that I really like doing to this thing personally. It has no weaknesses, but I have this persona right here. And Universal Law increases technical damage by 50%. Rage, if I can get Rage on you, drastically lowers this thing's defense and makes it technical from Psi. And then what I like to do here is, because I bought a whole bunch of these, I wish there was a way to like sort your items in this game, like if attack items were in like a separate pocket or something. But I'll use this to technical. And it's still in Rage, so I'm still technical if I use Psi attack. Now, I'm not concentrated for this, but
Oh
yes,
my god, that's beautiful.
It didn't actually die. However, since it's raging, fire is also technical.
Yeah, so an example of when the AOA is actually not, you know, as good of a choice when you set up a lot of the technicals. Yeah, like
and the game.
Oh, sorry, no, go ahead.
The game kind of sets you up to think that as well with the Onis in the third palace. They have no weaknesses, so you're kind of expected to. Oh, enemies here are already green, which means I can do that. You're kind of expected to use, and it's when Makoto joins as well. So, and she makes it easier to get ailments on enemies. So you're kind of expected to use technical on Onis because they have no weaknesses. So it's like technical is the main reliable way to knock them down.
Yeah, like
and they kind of prepare you for enemies like this, which have no weaknesses. And also, you didn't see it there, but Abaddon drains both physical and gun. So you're kind of, you really have to use technical against it, pretty much.
Let's go.
Yeah, so like going back to how you were talking about like Royal is a really when it comes to like the mechanics that are available, it's like a really clever, like really cool like gameplay kind of game. It's just just like kind of unfortunate that you know, like I get why they wanted to make it, I think, simpler to allow more people, right, to like enjoy the story part of the game. But yeah, like it's kind of unfortunate that like when it comes to actual like difficulty, it's
all right.
Probably it's the easiest, I think.
Yeah, I would say that.
Maybe even like easiest Atlas game when it comes to this kind of like gameplay style.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's really fun too as well. That's the thing with easy games. They're not inherently bad, like as a thing.
Yeah, no, like it's still really
I've
fun.
said before that I like this game in the same way that I like Fire Emblem Awakening. Like Fire Emblem Awakening, when you know what you're doing, is very easy, but it's also really fun.
Yeah, like you can do whatever you want. You can make anybody whatever you want, like whatever class you want.
Yeah.
And then just like yeah, because some games are like the draw of it is being like OP, kind of like how like people love Muso games because you're just like overkilling everything.
Yeah,
you know, like that's part of the draw of the game.
Yeah, this person's really hitting Futaba with the whole hikikomori thing.
And like the you know, solely just like online. Yeah.
And like online you can, like for example us, like we can chat online and we're in different countries. There are really good things about, you know, the online world, and people can make friends online too, but like at the same time, if you spend all your time online and just don't do anything in the real world, that's when things get a little bit, it's like we said, everything in moderation, really.
Yeah, because like for me, like online stuff as well, like it's so helpful for people, like, so like I have chronic illness and a lot of mobility problems, because I have like physical disability. So it's like a lot of online interaction. It's like I can't imagine how people in my condition, or maybe even worse, are able to like, you know, like actually socialize with a lot of people, because a lot of people who have the same condition I do, like transverse myelitis, but it's like even worse. It's like they just don't feel well to even like go out. So it's like, yeah, on one hand, like online, it's like amazing for a lot of people with different kinds of chronic illness and everything. But yeah, but at the same time, it's just like I do my best to, when it's a good day, to like even get out, like get some fresh air on like my porch even. Like if I don't feel like quite well enough to go on like a walk or something. It's just like, dude, yeah, just like getting out in my backyard or something. It's like it's refreshing, you know. It's a change of pace, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I kind of I definitely sympathize because I have a sister who has sort of chronic fatigue, and she's only just you know recently been starting to do more walks and go out. She's definitely getting on like with her life a lot better now than she used to be. Like there was a time when she could barely yeah, like she would just have no energy for anything. But
yeah, I mean that's awesome to hear. I'm so glad to hear that, you know. Yeah, I hope she continues to like get better, and at the same time I hope like, you know, they potentially they might start to understand like some of these things a little bit better, like the research and everything.
That's been a huge problem. Like it's always been a little difficult to understand. Like a lot of doctors have trouble understanding these conditions. But yeah, anyway, we have our second save point here, and going forward, so like you've got kind of a choice here, but you don't really, because if you try and go to the next puzzle, you'll find that you can't actually solve it until you go here first.
What the hell?
Because if they're guarding something, then obviously it's something that you're gonna need.
This is strange.
Exactly as Yusuke is saying. I had this weird thing. Oftentimes I don't know if I'm subconsciously remembering dialogue from earlier playthroughs, but like I have this thing where often like I'll say something and then the characters in the game will just say exactly what I just said.
I mean, maybe it's also just the fact that like these games, even just like, you know, like Japanese media, like there's nothing necessarily wrong with tropes in and of themselves. But when you play and experience enough of it, you just kind of get to know what they're gonna say. You know what I mean? Like you just know, like, yep, it's gonna be this plot line again. Like they're gonna say this dialogue words.
But I also feel in particular, like, sometimes the writing for certain characters, like Estelle in Trails in the Sky, I think does a really good job at, like, kind of saying what the player's thinking in a lot of situations.
Yeah, like it does, especially with the, like, we talked about this, like, a little earlier, or, like, not earlier in this video, but, like, we've talked about this before, the whole, like, especially the localization of Estelle does the whole, like, what the player is sarcastically thinking. Or like almost basically like fourth wall breaks.
Yeah, they do that a lot with Ace Attorney as well. I know you've only played Great Ace Attorney. I love how they take their hoods off when they attack. I didn't really notice that. That's cool.
Throne is cool, dude.
Yeah, Throne is pretty cool. In a lot of the Persona games, I seem to have this vague recollection that they're weak to nuclear. Oh, they are! I was right, okay. So I'm glad I brought Makoto to this. This is another case where I'm not going to all-out attack. I'm actually going to baton pass because I just concentrated on Makoto. Thank you, Jazz Club. But yeah, also I love how Makoto's weapon looks. It's just these giant crushing, like, fists.
Yeah.
Just, like, meat tenderizers. I think it's, like, the strongest thing I've had on her. So yeah, Throne does eventually show up as a regular shadow that you can negotiate with, so remember its weakness for later, because, yeah, it will have the same weakness.
That's kind of nice how I feel like there are a lot of instances in Persona games where, like, the boss is, like, reflected in regular shadow later. So you already know, like, how to deal with it.
I can feel it.
Although there is exactly one shadow, well, actually not here in this version. So in vanilla P5, Mara would sometimes show up here. This was the first dungeon Mara appeared as a normal enemy in. It's not here in Royal, but in vanilla Mara appears here, and I specifically remember Mara being a dirty cheater and being weak to ice as a persona, but not being weak to ice as an enemy.
Oh, interesting.
It's just like, yeah, and I do, like, I quite clearly remember the fact that Mara is here, only because, well, I saw somebody's Twitter feed. Like, it was always fun to go through the Twitters of people you follow, like on YouTube, who haven't played a Persona game before. Their first time seeing Mara. So I saw a tweet of somebody seeing Mara for the first time, and that was hilarious.
Alright, big PP demon on chariot, rolling on through, everybody!
Yeah, it was just like, okay then, yeah, that's a thing in this game.
With like sort of tentacle-y looking things coming out of the back, like...
Yeah, it's just like, and Mara, I think arguably Mara looks even worse in like SMT1, where it doesn't even have the chariot. It's basically just that and nothing else.
Oh, you kind of like what the tiny little, like, the little peepees are
the
in this game, like the Kamoshida.
Torn King of Desire, as it's called.
Yeah.
So, this puzzle... yeah, okay then. In fact, I'm not even sure we're even... Oh yeah, here we go. So yeah, it does go blue, but like by the time that it's blue, you walk on the other one and it goes yellow again. So this puzzle is actually unsolvable.
Excuse me?
Unless you've taken down those thrones and do this.
Now there's a secret little part.
Yeah, I like, another reason I like this dungeon is that these puzzles really remind me of, okay, so, oh wait, yep. I think it's probably easier if you restart this.
Yeah, if you just go all the way around.
Yeah. But it's like, this lets you make this blue, do this. Oh, okay, right, this is how you're supposed to do it. And then you do that, and then you can just do a full circle around. Yeah. These puzzles remind me a lot of a certain type of puzzle in the Zelda Oracle of Ages. It would do these kinds of puzzles a lot.
Ah.
I actually
haven't played
Seriously?
many Zelda games.
It's still going further down?
Oh, okay.
We're so far underground at this point.
Wait, why okay, so sometimes Royal confuses me with which scenes it decides to add full voice acting to and which it doesn't. Because, like, this is fully voiced. The last one of these was not voiced at all.
I hope we don't suddenly find ourselves in a giant pool of lava.
Also, this line from Yusuke, this isn't Minecraft, Yusuke. You don't have to worry about digging deep into the surface of the earth and hitting lava.
Still, we gotta keep going.
The Minecraft thing just makes me think of, like, I've seen so many, like, hardcore Minecraft runs where if you die once, it erases your file. They're just so afraid to dig in, like, through the lower parts of the world, because if you hit lava, you're basically dead.
Oh.
Like, the lava will just flow everywhere and just kill you.
Guys, look!
Well, dang. Wait, what
Doesn't that
platform
cell
was
seem
that on?
different from the
Minecraft,
others?
it's on basically everything, but mostly PC.
Wait, could this be that quarantine cell?
And we have at last arrived at the quarantine cell of rumor.
Supposedly, the most sinful, most dangerous inmate is held within.
This place smells familiar for some reason.
But wait, the cartoonist didn't give you a nose.
Mona-chan?
It's a line from the original Pokemon anime involving Team Rocket's Meowth.
Oh my god.
There's no mistake. This is it. I was born here. Born? Inside the prison?
JoJo's
Wait,
Part
are
6
you
says
the dangerous
hi.
inmate? No, the inmate wasn't me. But I remember this place. Someone created me here to guide all of you. Guide? And who is this someone?
So that explains why Morgana really wanted to get to the bottom of the depths of Mementos so much. It wasn't, like, just to find out about his past. He was subconsciously trying to lead us all down here.
I can't remember. Damn it. I'm so close. But my memory's too foggy.
You know, hearing all this just makes me want to know what's inside.
Let's just get like a bazooka and blast down the door, just like Caroline said in one of her hangouts.
All right, Haru, you're up.
I'm sure
like
Haru could just
rocket
wreck this entire
launcher,
place.
yeah.
Alert! Alert! Capture them at once!
Something that I've only noticed playing this on like a big TV is the masks on these shadows are actually the same as the ones in regular Mementos. Oh, hey, it's Dominion. Oh yeah, also this battle is,
We're surrounded. We gotta win this.
I wish they did this more often. It's a forced surrounded encounter. I think the last time they did this was back in Kamoshida's palace.
So literally at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of a cool concept having like mini bosses where you start surrounded. Also,
Yeah.
Merciless Inquisitor, that's an interesting name.
The opponent is strong.
Dude, I love Dominion. Dude, I love all the freaking law demons like designs, man. I am biased though.
In particular though, like how Dominion looks in some of the other games, like I'm not a huge fan, like in Nocturne, the way its model's done. In P5, Dominion looks amazing. I love how Dominion looks in P5.
Yeah. Because it's also
Now,
like the sway, like the motion, you know. It's so dynamic. I really like it.
Not weak to guns, okay then. Forget exactly what these things are weak to, because I thought at first they were weak to wind, but then it turned out no.
Yeah, because they use me.
Here.
Would you like to get confused, please? Okay, some of them got confused, which means they're actually technical from guns now, thanks to that book that I read, and also with, throw away odd morsel.
Yeah.
I did not even know you could get money out of this fight. I've never tried to do this before. This is amazing.
Empty the mind.
Just casually throwing 16k away.
Let's go.
But yeah, Wind's technical on all of them now because Wind's technical against Confuse and Burn, again, thanks to that technical book. And this means I can do this. Also, you never see it coming. It's like, I've said before, and I had this, like, I don't think I've told this to you, but I actually don't like Last Surprise all that much. It's like one of my biggest Persona hot takes. In moderation, I like Last Surprise. I think it works better as like a mini-boss theme than it does as a normal battle theme. Like, I love it in Strikers.
Yeah, like, I honestly, as someone who,
This
you
place
know,
seems
like,
to be
I
under high
do
alert now.
enjoy
We should keep
a
going.
lot of just, like, the more jazzy tracks of, like, Persona 5 in general. But, yeah, I feel like Last Surprise, it doesn't really strike me as, like, a normal battle theme.
That's exactly like it's just like like it's a good song in its own right, but like I just prefer the huge like dramatic intro that Takeover has in Royal. Like you hit the enemy and then it just hits you with the Takeover intro. It's just I just feel it fits a lot more as a battle theme.
Yeah, like
but like
no, yeah,
the
I
Strikers
totally agree.
remix of Last Surprise though, where it's used specifically for mini bosses, I really like that one.
Yeah, me too.
Given how important this cell appears to be, the depths of Mementos must be near. Mona's memories may return if we continue on.
Yeah.
Speaking of tropes though, usually whenever a character has amnesia, they're not gonna like what they remember once they do.
So, we're finally getting close to the public's treasure, huh?
Yeah.
Now that I think
That's
about it,
usually how it is.
it makes sense Mementos would connect to some place like underneath Shibuya. Everyone crams themselves into packed underground boxes day after day without any complaints.
This is certainly an interesting description of the Japanese train system, but I've heard that it can get incredibly crowded on their trains.
Yeah, oh yeah, like even especially like in China, because like I have some friends who teach English there, and yeah, they say like it's insanity. The trains.
Haven't people actually been injured by train crunch in countries like that?
Yeah, like people have been bruised and stuff from that, because it's kind of the same, like I'm very sorry for like the tragedy, you know, like that happened in like, you know, like Korea, like recently. That's the most,
the Halloween thing.
That's
Yeah,
the most
I
recent
thought, yeah, that
example of like
Yeah.
that's how dangerous crowds can be, and like people, you know, just from the train crunch alone, like you just get pushed up against like the train wall, and there's like nowhere to go though. You're just like, I'm getting bruised now.
And on like a completely different but also sad note about like Japan's train system, I've heard that they've had to have like women-only cars just because like perverts on trains are so common.
Oh yeah, like the groping thing is seen as like just like boys will be boys, basically.
Yeah,
kind
it's one of those. It's kind of one of those shikata ganai things. It's just
Yeah.
like it's just something that happens in society, and you shouldn't complain about it.
From my standpoint, those are the true inmates.
Because a lot of the
Mementos.
women, if you interview
no
them
surprise the
on
places
this,
are
like a lot of
connected.
Japanese women, they'll just say that exact thing. Like, well, you know, like shogunai. Like, what are we supposed to do about it?
You know, the voices of the public may have led the Phantom Thieves on more than any criminal.
Seriously! Let's hurry up and steal that treasure so we can crush Mementos.
We truly are reforming society. Let's go!